And that, you know, I think that's what takes us into this next part of the conversation, which is then what do we say for, you know, countries that have a strong Christian foundation, right? Who continue to maintain some of the older forms of dealing out, you know, justice, or, you know, taking vengeance, or, you know, revenge, or what have you. But they know that, you know, they have the gospels, they know the teachings, but they don't live by it, right? So for me, it's like, well, then, you know, what is the real effectiveness of Christianity? Is it that Christianity is, Christ is telling you this is what happens if you continue to live by the scapegoat mechanism, after I've already kind of like, you know, taught you as a master teacher, you know what I mean, as an instructor, right? Or someone to, you know, as the prime example to follow. But then you continue to do that, right? How, you know, does that just leave us in the kind of this apocalyptic mode where it's like, okay, you know, then you're choosing to make the decision that's going to basically destroy you, right? You're choosing to opt for the apocalyptic version of the message rather than the one, you know, brings in the glory of God on earth or something like that.
Well, in my opinion, you know, the stumbling block is what you're talking about, that the Bible, the gospel story is a scandal on it. It makes you stumble. You know, you walking across a field and you stumble on a rock and you jag the heck out of your foot. That's what it's like. And that's kind of what's happening, right? The West is just walking around on a field and it keeps stumbling. It keeps hitting a rock and jagging itself about the concern for victims. And it can't organize itself anymore. It doesn't even want to have policing anymore because it's so haunted by how we deal with victims that it can't even get that right. And people want to defund the police. And that's actually a thing in the West. Is there a defund the police movement in Shanghai right now? I'm sure there's a lot of people in Shanghai who wish they could defund the police, but they do not have the cultural inheritance, unfortunately, as a normative to even proposition such an idea as, hey, we're going to cut your budget if you keep beating us down because we're trying to get food during this lockdown. You see what I mean? And so that's a very important inheritance to understand. And I would say that, I don't know, it's almost as if you're more Christ haunted, you're more likely to be more explosively wealthy, as the West has been, but also explosively extinguished, as we are now exhibiting, because we can't even get along. And we spend so much time, talking about how we're going to change kindergartners to become pangender or pansexual, rather than actually teaching them mathematics, how to build a road, how to put pavement down, you know, how to clean the nuclear, laboratories and not blow up the world. All these basic things, we can't teach them that because we're obsessed with rooting out any kind of differentiation that could lead to oppression, right? And that's what's going to happen. Here's the thing that's interesting, Shannon, is that we had undifferentiation in other societies before. It's not like we've never had undifferentiation, right? But the point was they were moments that were stamped out by sacrificial violence. But we can't do that now because every time we press a sacrificial lynching, it does not create the order that it used to. It doesn't create peace. It doesn't create consensus. Yeah. It creates division and schism. And so we're left with this eternal, like you said, apocalypse, unveiling the madness of crowds, the madness of human society without God, right?